Hello everyone, welcome back to the full stack web development course where you will be able to build a full stack web application. At the end of this course, especially we are going to build a Stack Overflow clone in this course. So in the previous lectures, we have just created an HTML basics directory, and inside that we have created few HTML files, and especially the index HTML file as well as a style sheet as well as an image inside an images directory. So inside the index HTML file we have used all the tags, most of the tags inside that, most of the familiar and common tags inside that, and inside this style sheet I have explained most of the important topics in CSS. Properties like margin, box sizing, min height, color, text decoration, background color, padding, border and border radius, and few typographical contents as well as height and width, as well as float, as well as. So let me just refresh this. So this is what is present in the at the end of the last lecture, and especially we have seen the important topic like flex, which is a most important topic in CSS as well, and we have just went through few pseudo classes like nth child, first child, as well as last child, as well as hover and active pseudo classes. As well as I have explained about combinators like space combinator and then greater than combinator as well as a plus combinator. So and also I have provided references in MDN docs as well as W3 schools, which provide awesome contents. You can get many examples as well as you can practice yourself there and learn many pseudo classes as well as combinators like this. So So you can see in our application is right away here in the browser. So you can see here is an extra settings here as well, and if I just click, there's nothing inside because I have just created an empty settings HTML file here. They have included a style sheet called settings style.css, which is also empty. So now let me just close these things and open the settings.html. Here I'm going to have few div tags with a class name of box dash container. So you can see this is my tag name, this is my class name. So if I just hit enter, nothing happens, right? So you can see it has been auto completed that. Inside the div tag, I got a class for box container, which VS Code makes my work simpler. So let me just copy this for several times. So for that, I'm just gonna click Alt Shift as well as down arrow few times. So this is it. So let me just now open the settings.css, settings style CSS. Now let me just call the class selector name as box dash container. So here I have a typo, and then now I'm just going to give a height of 200 px and a width of, so width of 300 px as well, and then I'm just going to give a background color of yellow. Basically we are just gonna provide some bunch of rectangles here. Here everything is a block of color because there is no differentiation between each rectangles. So for that I'm just going to give a border as solid 2px as well. I'm gonna give a black color. So you can see now these rectangles has been differentiated, So I'm just going to provide a space between everything, every rectangle. For that, I'm just going to give a margin of 10 px. You should be familiar with these properties and values because we have discussed about these things in the previous lecture itself. So you can see here's margin for everything, margin for the every rectangles we got. So we got a bunch of rectangles here, one below one another. So what I'm gonna do now is that I'm gonna just explain about positions in box container. What I'm trying to do is to explain about positions in uh, in CSS. What is a position property? Position property allows you to navigate a particular container through this web page. So I'm going to select this first rectangle. How I'm just going to select is that I'm just going to use the box containers class name as a selector, and I'm just going to use the pseudo class as first child. First child allows me to access the first child which has the box container as a class name. So this box has the class name as box container for the first time. So I have just selected this and I'm just going to give a background color of red. So now you can see this box is now alone red. These things are now yellow. So what I'm the first value of position property is nothing but static, which is a default value which makes nothing to this, rectangle. It doesn't make any difference in the rectangle's appearance, because static is a default value. Whether it is given or not given, it's the same value. So nothing interesting in static. So the next value is relative. So relative is like static, but it has some differences. You can see nothing is different in the lineage of these rectangles, as well as nothing is different with this red box. So to make a difference, I can use a few properties called top, as I can give a value for as 10% and a value of left as 30%. So now you can see that the box is now navigated towards the left alone. It is not given a top because the position of this box is now relative. So which allows me to navigate this box along this side alone. So what top and left means? Left means left 30% means consider this length of the browser and 30% from the left of the browser. So this is the 30% value. So now that's why the box is placed here. This is the thing about position relative. If I just comment out position relative, the top and left don't have any values for this rectangle. It makes sense when only I give a position of relative like that. And the next thing about a position is nothing but absolute value. So if I just provide absolute to this red box, let me just comment these two things. So you can see now the first rectangle box is over the second rectangle box. The second rectangle box as was already present here, but it has just moved a bit high. So this is because position absolute makes our rectangle above everything. That is what Z index means. Z index is nothing but Z index is nothing but the value from the Z axis. So if I just view, so think like this yellow second box has a Z index of 0. Now our red box has a Z index of 2. That's why it is above everything. So if I just provide z index of -2 for our red box, it should go behind yellow box because yellow box has a z index value of 0. So let me just give z index as 2. So you can see that now my red box is below everything. You can see it is crazy. So and also by providing these top and left value, we can just navigate um, our red box anywhere in the browser with respect to this browser, because this top means from the top of the browser it is 30%, that's where the red box is present, and from left of 30%, that's where the red box is present. So that's it for position absolute. And now we will just get into a topic called fixed. Position fixed. So let me just get rid of these things. Let me just take these things off, and now I'm just going to select the second or the third box of this lineage. So how I can select that? I can give a nth child of 4 as well. So I'm just going to select this box and I'm just going to give a background color of blue. So now our background color is blue here. So now I'm just going to give a value of position fixed. So now you can see it is same, it is done what absolute does. Absolute makes everything, makes the blue box above everything. That's what also fixed does. But one thing interesting, so if I just scroll down or scroll up, the blue box remains in the same place. It doesn't move, or it is stable. It is only in that fixed position. That is what position fixed means. It cannot be movable. It is just fixed in that web page. So you can give a top of 30% and a left of 70%. So now the blue box is here and it couldn't be moved anywhere. It will remain in this position. And that's it. So we do have another position value called sticky. Sorry, I have a typo. I written as sticky. So now what it has done, it behaves like a position relative. That's what a position relative does. It just allows the left value, not the top value. That's what actually sticky done. But one thing different, if our blue box reaches a certain position of top 30%. So what is 30%? From here to here is 30%. So our box reaches a certain limit, the box is fixed there. If I just again scroll down, you can see our box is fixed there. It just stick to that top position. If I just give a top of 10%, like so, so if I just scroll down, as soon as my blue box hits the top of 10%, it will just remain in that position. It won't move up or down. And that's it. So that is all about position fixed. So guys, this tutorial is to showcase how and to explain the position property for you. So you have to play with this position property as well as its values to get a clean UI what you want. And that's it. So the next topic is going to be about backgrounds. So to get into that, I'm just going to clear all these things. So I'm just going to comment these things out. So this is the thing going to remain, and inside that we will be having two div values. one is gonna have a class of A, as well as another thing is gonna have a div with a class of B. So yeah, now I'm just going to comment things out. So let me just uncomment these things. So now let me just uncomment these things. I don't need this, as well as I don't need a background color. So now I'm just going to make this bigger as a 100 as well as a 500, and inside that we do have two boxes like A. It's going to have a height of 100 px and a width of 200 px and a border solid 2 px as well as a black color. So you can see this here, and then I'm just going to give a margin for these things as 10 px. That's it. So now you can see this box has a margin of top, left as well as right, and bottom as 10 px. Now I'm just going to give the same value for the B also. So you can see I have provided the same value for the B also. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna have a background image for these things. So I'm going to give a background image property, and here we'll be giving a background image properties value as a URL, and inside that we can provide a string with a value of images slash image tree. So sorry, image tree has our image. So let me just decrease. So you can provide a image value in the HTML as well as in the style, both areas. So that's why I have provided this image here. As well, I can give a background size of 30 px as well as 40 px. So you can see it is very small. Let me just improve the size to 50 or 70. So now you can see the image has been repeated. Here is the one image, here is the second image, here is the, let me just zoom it a bit so that it is clear. You can see here is a one image, here is a second image, here is a third image, here is a fourth one, and here is the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. So the images are repeated. So what we can do to prevent that, we can give a background repeat of no repeat. So you can see now it has only one image value. So I think I have swapped these values. I have to give 50 for this and 70 for this, like so. So now this looks pretty cool. Instead of having a custom size, we can give a standard value to fit this image value in this entire screen by just giving a background size as contain. So you can see now this box contains this image now, and there is also another value for this, which means cover, which zooms in for the image a bit and fixes all the edges and leaves no gaps between these edges, which looks really cool. So That is all about background. That's all we got, and we do got another property to explain that. Let me just leave these values as 50px and 70px and 50px, so you can see. Let me just zoom it again. So there is another thing in background, like a background position, which is nothing but, let me just give a value to experiment that, 50px. Now you can see this image has been placed from the top as 30px, and from the left as, from the left it is placed as 30px, and from the top it has been placed from 50px. So that is what this background position means. And not only we can provide a unit value, we can also provide as left, bottom, like so. So it has been moved to the left bottom, or you can just give a right bottom to move that thing towards the right. So you can play with this thing. So that's all about backgrounds in CSS. So that's it guys, about position and background in CSS. So you can check two websites called w3schools.com and developer.mozilla.org. So these two websites provide amazing tutorials as well as practices and examples where you can work it out. So just play with all the CSS properties and values to understand that. So that's all about today's lecture. So in the next part of CSS, we will be just going through transition as well as animation. That's the last topic of CSS. Thank you.